Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're making seafood stuffed jumbo pasta shells. Stay tuned. Alright you guys, for the filling of our stuffed pasta, I bought some pre-made crab cakes from the store. One is Cajun, one is regular. I have some crab legs that I'm going to crack into, and then some pre-deshelled lobster tails. Check out my video that was previously posted to learn how to deshell them on your own, and let's get into the rest. Here are ingredients for the pasta we're gonna make. So I have one whole box of jumbo pasta shells. I have some cream cheese, some butter, 2 cups of heavy cream, a whole bag of mozzarella cheese. I have some parmesan cheese, some Worcestershire sauce, and then also a little minced garlic. Along with these contents of the sauce, I also have a few spices that I'm gonna show you all in a minute. I do not actually measure my ingredients so much because a lot of cooking I feel like is a lot of trial and error, and even when you have the recipe down pat, it can always be tweaked. So these are the base for my ingredients. However, I will add more or less of any ingredient, but I'll tell you guys as I go, so no worries there. Into my spices, we have onion powder, Old Bay, paprika, white pepper, garlic powder, creole, and rubbed sage. Here, the only ones I ended up using were this Mrs. Dash Italian medley and the Lawry seasoned salt. So starting with our pre-made crab cakes, I am gonna put my gloves on and kind of flatten them out. I'm just gonna take the crab cake and kind of flatten it out. And my reason for this is that I like crispy edges. I don't know about anybody else. So this is gonna help to cook the crab cake in its entirety, to when it's in your pasta, it'll have a little crisp to it. And I think that's really good. So just like that, we're gonna transfer it over into our pan here. I'm just gonna kind of lay it down in there. Our oven is set to 350 degrees and we are gonna cook this for about 15 minutes. The lobster tails here, I'm just gonna pull them out of the shell. Hopefully getting as much meat as we can out of there. Don't want anything to go to waste. Alright, so now with these lobster tails, you really just want to cut it to the thickness that you would want it in or on top of your pasta. Into our simmering pot of water, I'm going to go ahead and add our pasta shells. Okay, to our lobster meat, I'm just gonna add a little bit of my Creole seasoning. I'm really eyeballing here, but I wanna have it seasoned before I put it in the pan just because I feel like the flavor will kind of soak in a little bit better. Gonna put a little garlic powder on it, some Old Bay, and a little bit of white pepper. Now with a spoon, I'm just gonna go ahead and mix those ingredients in. There's a little bit of lemon juice in there as well. To our pan, I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of butter. And now our lobster meat. I'm gonna cook this before I cook the Alfredo sauce. One, because we're just dealing with one pan today. Also, I feel like, I don't know, it needs to be cooked before it's cooked with the sauce for better results, so. Here I feel like it's also important to say that you don't want to cook your lobster meat until it's like fully cooked and tough, because it's going to cook also while it's cooking in the sauce that we're making. So that is definitely something to keep in mind as you go. Now I think that this is good enough for me, so I'm going to take it off of the heat and then start our Alfredo sauce. So to the same saucepan we just cooked our lobster tail in, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of that stick of butter. And I'll let it melt down a little bit. And with that, I'm gonna add 1 whole tablespoon or 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. We're gonna keep stirring it. Now that everything's melted, I think we're ready for our 2 cups of heavy cream. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour that in there like this. And keep stirring. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add a whole cup of mozzarella cheese, shredded. And you already know what we're gonna do. Keep stirring. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add in about a 1/4 cup of cream cheese and keep stirring. Our sauce is getting thick and that's what we like. Also to the pot, we're gonna add in a few shakes of that Worcestershire sauce. I'm gonna go back in with some lemon juice here. Some Creole seasoning. Old Bay. Rubbed sage. I feel like this is a seasoning that a lot of people actually don't know about, but it makes my food taste really good. So if you've never tried rubbed sage or sage at all, I would. Onion powder. Garlic powder. White pepper. A little bit of Lawry seasoned salt. Not too much because you can always add salted products at the end. I'm gonna add some Italian medley. This is Mrs. Dash brand. That's a really good salt-free brand if you haven't heard about it. And stir. Now that our sauce is boiling just a little bit, simmering I should say, we're gonna add that lobster meat right back in there. A stir. So now while all of our flavors are kind of blending and merging together, I'm gonna go ahead and take our crab cakes out of the oven and stuff our pasta shells. All right, you guys, I don't have a traditional strainer just yet, so I have a little strainer shovel. Drained enough, I'm gonna move it over to the bowl. So now that our crab cakes are done and crispy, I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of cut them into pieces that will go directly into our stuffed shells. So now I'm just gonna take a piece of our crab cake. It's a little hot, so use a fork or whatever you'd like, and put the crab cake inside the shell and kind of roll it just a little bit, and you have a stuffed shell. Now that our shells are stuffed, I'm gonna put them in a baking dish and go back to check on our sauce. I really wish you guys could smell this. It looks, smells, and tastes delicious enough to pour right on top of these pasta shells. Not caught on camera, I did go ahead and take some of those extra pasta shells and add them around the sides of our dish. This helps to feed a larger bunch and not let anything go to waste. Pasta, I'm gonna go back in with our shredded mozzarella cheese. Just a little layer on top, kind of like a casserole or like lasagna. And we are gonna stick it in the oven on 500 degrees, which is also boiling, until it has a little crispy layer on top, and then our pasta will be finito. And there you have it. It's like a little piece of cheesy heaven. It is extremely hot, so be careful. Also, for the butter on top, you can use a paper towel after it cools a little bit to dab some off or just serve as is. Now to garnish my plate, I'm gonna take a little bit of Parmesan cheese, put it right on top there. And also a little parsley for color. And voila! A delicious seafood meal for you and your whole family to enjoy. If you decide to give this recipe a try, comment down below your thoughts, your taste, your reviews. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Kari's Bag. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!